It's really good to be back teaching for IJS. I'm a bit under the weather, so please just excuse any coughing or throat clearing, and hopefully my voice will make it through today, and we'll do our best. I want to start by telling you a story. It's a story that you may have heard before. It's a popular meditation teaching story, but I recently felt drawn to it again, and it's been on my mind a lot. I happened to tell this story to my 3-year-old at breakfast one morning recently, and he became so obsessed with it. I would finish telling the story, and he'd just say, "Again, again." So sorry, Lev, you're at daycare and not here to hear this, but I'm going to tell it again. And I invite everyone here, if you would like, to close your eyes as I tell this story and just let the images arise, or you can keep your eyes open if you prefer. So once there was a man who every day would go walking along a long beach. And all along this beach, there had washed up onto the shore thousands and thousands of starfish. And every day this man would go walking and he would pick up a starfish, throw it back in the water, pick up a starfish, throw it back in the water, pick up a starfish, throw it back in the water. And he would do this every day. One day, a little boy came along the beach and saw what the man was doing. And the little boy was confused. And he went up to the man and said, "What are you doing? There are thousands and thousands of thousands and thousands of starfish on this beach, and more wash up every day. You'll never get them all back into the water. It doesn't matter." And the man bent down to the sand, picked up a starfish, threw it back in the water, pointed towards it, and said, "It mattered to that one." If your eyes have been closed, you can open them. So I love this story, and I've been sharing it a lot lately because it feels so resonant right now. In these times that we're living through, the tasks before us can feel like this endless beach of starfish that we will never be able to get all of. Even our own meditation practice can feel this way at times. So many thoughts, so many distractions. And there's a voice inside of us that is the little boy in the story who says, "Why try it all? It doesn't matter." But there is also a wise and compassionate voice inside of us that knows that whatever we are able to do, it matters. That one starfish, that one moment, that one act of kindness is a whole universe. Our tradition teaches us, after all, in Pirkei Avot, that it's not up to us to complete the work, but that we must not desist from it. Our tradition teaches us that our actions, however small we perceive them to be, matter. They matter. In this week's Parsha, Shlach, God tells Moses to send out scouts to survey the land of Canaan. They go out, they find gigantic fruit, these humongous grapes, and they see all the different peoples around the land. And when they return to make their report, they tell of these fearsome giants who they saw there. And they close their report saying, "And we looked like grasshoppers to ourselves, and so we must have looked to them." when we're faced with something scary or intimidating, whether it's another person or a situation or unfamiliar terrain, we can suddenly feel so small. We can shut down, freeze, and avoid because we feel threatened, because we may feel like we don't have the resources to meet whatever is happening. All of us have felt small and vulnerable at times. As Rebecca mentioned at the beginning of our time together today, these are some very tumultuous times we're in right now. And I imagine a lot of us feel small and vulnerable right now. All that is going on in our country and our world is more than enough to make us feel like we can't go forward, feel like we need to retreat, like it's just too many starfish. So, when we feel this way, how do we work with it? How do we keep taking one step at a time, one moment at a time, one breath at a time? So, today I'd like to offer a meditation to support us when we feel like a grasshopper to ourselves, or when we feel like it's too many starfish, to help us meet overwhelming situations with groundedness and care. So that's what we're going to move into together right now. And as we begin to settle in, I want to invite you to take a moment to offer a stretch to your body or a soothing massage or touch, something that would feel nourishing to your body right now before we settle into stillness for a little while. And when your movement is complete, I'd like to invite you to come into a comfortable posture. And you're welcome to sit in a chair or on a cushion or to lie down or even to stand if that's where your body is at today. And feel free to take care of your body however you need to during this meditation. And if any of the instructions that I give are not wise for you for any reason, please feel free to modify them or take a break or open your eyes. So for now, I would like to invite you to close your eyes if you like, or to keep your eyes open with a soft, gentle gaze. Finding a stable place for your feet. Letting your hands rest in your lap wherever they're most at ease. Coming into a balanced posture. If you're sitting, making sure you're sitting in a way that allows your breath to flow freely and fully. Noticing sensations of contact. Feeling the contact at your feet. Noticing the touch of the floor beneath your feet. Noticing contact with your chair or cushion. Sensation of touch at your hands. The feeling of clothing, of fabric touching your skin. The feeling of the air on your skin, cool or warm. Aware of sounds entering your ears. Sounds coming and going. All of these sensations, sound, touch, contact, helping to call us home to this moment of presence. As you arrive more fully in the body resting here, if you notice that there are places of tension or holding, places working harder than they need to right now, seeing if there's anything you can soften, if you can let go, even if just for a moment. Letting go of expression in your face, softening your belly, giving the weight of arms and legs to gravity. Softening fingers and toes. Sensing into the groundedness of the body right here in this moment. If it's comfortable for you, beginning to bring your attention to the sensations of the breath. The breath at the nostrils or mouth, however you're breathing is just fine. The movement of the breath in the abdomen. And if the breath is not a workable anchor for you, you can let your attention rest instead with a sense of your full body's presence right here, or the feeling of your hands or your feet. But if the breath is available to you, gently resting with just this breath. And if it's helpful, you can even say to yourself in your mind, just this in breath, just this out breath. You don't have to worry about being present for this entire meditation. Your only job is to be with just this breath. And whenever your attention wanders away from the breath, you don't have to judge yourself or give yourself a hard time. You can appreciate this moment of wakefulness, of waking up as a starfish. This moment of awareness matters. And then gently coming back to the breath or the body. So we'll continue to practice silently together for a few minutes. If you notice you've gotten lost, caught up in planning, problem solving, memories. It's okay. It's part of the practice. Gently noticing whatever has arisen with gratitude for this moment of wakefulness. And coming back to just this moment, just this breath. And we'll practice silently for a few more minutes. As we begin to draw this practice to a close, I'd like to offer a poem, Liberation by Adrienne Marie Brown. I can only do something small. The ripple still reaches the shore. When we meet, you are a stranger, but I knew you, and you become beloved. The days are all too heavy, and then we lift together. We need everything to be different, so we change, change, and change. I thought this was too shattered, but I am whole. We are whole. This is whole. We seek a way through to heaven. We find we each have our own way. Taking a moment to appreciate yourself for this time that you've set aside for a practice today to support yourself and to support one another. And as you feel ready, if your eyes have been closed, you can gently open them. Feel free to take a stretch or move around, and I'll hand it back over to Rebecca.
Thank you so much, Emily, for that beautiful, beautiful practice and teaching and poem. And thank you again to everyone for being with us today. We will seal this beautiful practice with a recitation of the Mourner's Kaddish. So if anyone is currently in a period of mourning or honoring the memory of someone who has passed away, observing your site, you're welcome to share their name in the chat. And please rise in body or spirit to join me to recite the Mourner's Kaddish. And you can unmute as well. Yitkadal,
Amen.
Oma Digra Kirtasian Mahute Ahaye Yumai Hom Haye Tikot Beit Israel Ba'ak Israel Ulisman Kari Vimro Amen. Yehi Shmi Rabam
Mirabba Mavarahi Alamamilma,
Ishvara, 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 Vikraman, Vitnasu, Vitadar, Vitame, Vitalashme, Krisha, Berihu, Vailami, Kupata, Shimuta, Tushvahata, Vinekmata, Anikta, Aniran, Va'ana, Vimra, Amen, Yehi Shlama, Rabba, Minchimaya, Ahayim, Alene, Vakol, Israel, Vimru, Amen, Osei Shalom, Vimra, Hallelujah. Say shalom. Alini va'akol Israel. Va'akol yoshvei taikla. Vimru amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you again so much, Emily, and everyone for being here today. For anyone who is leaving now, we wish you good health and shalom. Hope to see you back here. Actually, tomorrow the IJS office is closed for Juneteenth, but we will gather again on Friday, and I'll be here to host that day as well. And all are welcome also to stay on right now. We'll stay here for another 15 minutes or so. If you'd like to ask Emily any questions about today's teaching and practice, or just share your reflections of what came up for you. And if you have a question, you can just write it in the chat box and print it as Laura just did with the word question in all caps so that we can make sure to notice it. So yeah, we'll just get started with this question from Laura. She says, might you offer any thoughts on how to maintain the saving one starfish perspective when one is daily challenged by loved ones who assert that it's not worth it perspective? Emily, do you have some thoughts on that?
Thank you so much for this question, Laura. I think that often we can, be confronted with our own doubt and also doubt of others. And just being able to distinguish between our own thoughts and others' thoughts, and making choices about what we pay attention to, and to some extent, guarding our sense doors. There's a Buddhist idea of guarding our sense doors, and what are we taking in? What are we allowing in to our awareness? And so we can listen. We can always offer a compassionate listening presence to those who are feeling, as you mentioned, the it's not worth it perspective. We're all in pain. No matter where we're coming from, we're all in pain. And so being able to hold a compassionate listening space for that feeling of not being able to go forward, and at the same time knowing what our own feelings are, being able to hold our own space, hold space for ourselves. So yeah, thank you for that question, Laura.
Thank you so much, Emily. Yeah, it's so true how deeply impacted we are by the environments that we're in. It's like we're always kind of functioning in the environment we're in the water that we're swimming in, to stick with your metaphor. And it can just be so powerful and liberating just to become aware of that and see where we might actually have agency and shifting things around us in terms of what's really coming in. And just to notice how that impacts our thoughts and feelings. It's a beautiful reminder. I'll just share that, I loved your teaching so much, and it was very much what I needed today. I think the news has just been so incredibly overwhelming, honestly, for so long now, and felt a big wave of that this past week. And your teaching reminded me of the Jewish teaching that each human being is a whole world, right? There's this idea in our tradition that each human being is a whole universe, and that's why each life is like immeasurably precious. And I felt you take that teaching even further into, you know, not only each person or each starfish, but each moment. Right? It's like each moment is that starfish. Each moment is in some way immeasurably sacred and worthy of our attention and our love. And yeah, there's just something that feels so healing about that, I think, when so much feels so wrong and so off. And yeah, I guess I'm just curious if you could speak a little bit more on how you find meaning and find your connection to that sanctity of the little things in life that really matter, even when so much feels so out of our control.
Well, one thing that I've been thinking about, I've been thinking in this time a lot about the early Kabbalists in medieval Spain and how much they promoted this idea that what we do on this earth matters and that it can affect the universe, that it can affect the heavens, that it can impact God, and that change then flows down to us.
Mm,
And how that idea, this very engaged and um, connected and empowered kind of Jewish practice
mhm,
came out of such a time of persecution and fear. And I just really take heart in that
mhm,
because what we're here doing today is so, I would say, owing to um, the work of the early Kabbalists that we're even here doing this and meditating and studying in this way. Um, and that they must have had some trust and some trust that their efforts and that their work would have a lasting impact, even if they couldn't see it, even if they didn't know what would come of it.
mhm,
And so I think that that's part of how I'm approaching this moment,
mm,
that what I can offer, what we can offer. I have some faith that the goodness of our work and our prayers and our actions will have a good impact,
mm,
even if we don't see it right now, or even if we don't know when it will unfold.
mm.
Um,
Kenny
yeah,
Herzlin. Yeah, may it be so.
yeah. And the other thing I'll say is that having a 3-year-old makes very, very, very clear in the moment how much actions matter.
Mhm,
Um, and how much my actions as a parent matter, how what I say and what I do, the way he learns, the way he observes, the things he says,
mhm,
and pick up on, um, if there's any doubt that someone isn't paying attention, that something isn't impacted, forget it. He's there. He knows. And yeah, and so I think I've been taking that attitude or trying to take that attitude into other areas of my life as well. That something is felt, something is affected, even if I may or may not see it or know it in the moment.
yeah, and our children are certainly such perfect teachers for that, such pure reflections. Um, and thanks for the reminder about the wisdom that really so often I think in our tradition has come out of these deep places of Mitzrayim, of contraction and constriction, and how we just never know actually where those teachings will go and how they'll live on. It's like the lotus that blooms in the mud. So thank you, Emily. It's inspiring. We have a few comments here related. I feel that this feels related to what you were just sharing from Paris, that every little thing we can do to bring positive emotions into our lives and the lives of others, even strangers, adds to the positive vibrations in the world. We may not be able to stop anyone from doing something negative. We can at least contribute to positivity, to laughter, to smiles, to the feeling of being held. Beautiful. Thank you. Paris.
Thank you. That's beautiful.
And we have a question here from Lori. For you, Emily, your path of studies, teaching, and organizing / founding mindfulness-based and Jewish mindfulness practice communities is truly remarkable. Would you speak to what you've enjoyed or learned about yourself and others in this journey? Makes me feel like I should be doing more to engage with MBSR, which is mindfulness-based stress reduction. Emily, maybe you can share what that is as a key focus
Sure.
of life.
Yeah, well, so first of all, yeah, just to say what MBSR is, mindfulness-based stress reduction is an 8-week secular mindfulness or non-sectarian mindfulness curriculum that was developed by John Kabat-Zinn through UMass Medical School, and it's an it's a it's an intensive introduction to various types of mindfulness practices and ways of applying it to one's life in stressful situations. And it was originally developed for um, chronic pain and chronic illness and to be applied in healthcare settings. And it's a wonderful curriculum and is offered all over the world. It's offered online. Um, I haven't taught the course in a little while because I've been busy with rabbinical school, but I really recommend it for anyone who wants a good um, something that'll really keep you accountable for 8 weeks and to go into some in-depth mindfulness practice. Um, so in terms of what I've enjoyed and learned about myself and others in this journey. I mean, okay, standing on one foot. Um, I would think I would need another hour to really say, but hmm, let me see what's the strongest thing coming up for me right now. I think at the moment what is coming up for me is how powerful and impactful um, community is and spiritual friends in particular and whether it's a group or a few people or a havruta or some people that you're in community with where um, it isn't necessarily always easy or um, gentle or pleasant all the time but people in communities that can really get to know who you are and who you really get to know, who help you grow and help you learn and challenge you, um, and act as a mirror and reflect back to you um, learning and that in particular in rabbinical school has been just an incredible part of my learning as well as in the meditation um, world and journey and having different communities, different sanghas, different uh, meditation buddies over the years to share with on a very open and vulnerable level. It can be very healing and powerful. Um, so I know there's probably a lot more, but that's what's coming up for me today. Thanks for the question, Lori.
For that, Emily. Yeah, it reminds me of that. I think it's a teaching from the Buddha that like one of his disciples said to him at some point, "Oh, I've realized that the Sangha, like the spiritual community, is like a really important part of the spiritual path. It's like really critical." And he was like, "No, it's the whole path." Right? It's the whole path. There's so much
Yes.
of what is truly healing and growthful is really what happens in relationship. And yeah, feels like Judaism continues to is always uplifting that as well, just the importance of that.
Definitely.
Part of why this practice community is really such a gift for all of us. So thank you so much again, Emily. Thank you so much again, everyone. Maybe we'll just end today sharing this little sweet note from Ricky, who says, to be Jewish is to believe that every action and every person matters because you also matter, and you know how it feels if even one person makes you feel that. And this one from Nancy also, most of us can probably think of a kindness done to us that might have seemed small but had a large impact. Feels like a beautiful note just to end on here with just that reminder and encouragement to never doubt the power, the significance, the sacredness of a single starfish, of bringing our kind attention to a single moment, to a single person. It can go much further than we could ever imagine. So thank you, everyone.